So today we will be talking about the complex case study of Alice. To start with a little background on Alice, she is a 51-year-old female who has been diagnosed with MS and hypertension. In addition to this, she also has a history of falls, numbness in her fingers, and limited range of motion in her upper extremity due to the weakness and fatigue, and she fatigues easily. She has 2 adult daughters that live out of state, and she is divorced. However, her ex-husband still helps her when she needs it. She does not feel as though she is having any difficulties, but her ex-husband believes she is struggling with some of her home maintenance tasks. She lives in a 2-story home in a rural area with the bedroom and the bathroom on the 2nd floor, the laundry in the basement, and both of these are causing her some difficulty due to the fact that she uses crutches to walk. She was a teacher, however, she had to retire due to the fatigue that she was facing and stated that she misses working with the kids in the community. Some occupations that are most affected by her MS are home maintenance, where she is having difficulty keeping her house clean and performing other tasks in a timely manner. Meal prep, where her ex-husband has said that she starts parts of the meals and never finishes them. Laundry, which is difficult to perform since the washer and dryer are downstairs, and she has to walk down there with her clothes and her crutches. She had to retire from teaching as it became too much for her to keep up with, and she loves gardening, but it has become difficult to manage with her fatigue and her lack of mobility. Because she does not feel as though she is having difficulty, we need to approach intervention with her a bit differently than we normally would. Building rapport and trust will be vital in order for Alice to feel comfortable with her therapist and learn that she really could use help and intervention techniques. We also need to start with the things that even Alice admits that she is having difficulty with, and things that are meaningful to her, such as the fact that she struggles with work and community involvement. After rapport has been established and she trusts the therapist's opinion and judgment, we should begin to suggest other areas that we could help her with, such as meal prep and safety in the shower, which we will cover more in depth later on. Alice also said that she pushes herself to a point where she will do whatever she can and then sleeps on the couch for multiple hours. We need to make sure an appropriate sleep schedule and routine are established so that if she does rest during the day, it does not interfere with her sleep at night. It is important that she is getting the right amount of sleep to help manage her fatigue. The 3 main routines that are affected by Alice's MS are her morning routine, laundry routine, and dinner routine. Currently, she is having difficulty with dressing and showering. She said that it currently takes her up to 50 minutes to complete her routine, and by the end of it, she is exhausted and goes to sleep on the couch for a good portion of the day. She also is performing transfers in and out of the showers in a way that it not only exerts a lot of extra energy, but is very unsafe. She also stated that her laundry is difficult for her. She struggles to walk down the stairs using crutches, and when she does, the task of laundry can take her all day to complete. She also refused to show the therapist how she got up and down the stairs of the laundry room, which is of concern. Lastly, her ex-husband has stated that she really struggles to make herself meals. He stated that she will start various tasks such as chopping vegetables or boiling water, but then stops because she gets too tired. This prevents her from being able to complete a full meal and get the proper nutrition that she needs to keep up her strength. Alice's roles of being a teacher have changed due to the fact that she was unable to keep up with the demands of the classroom. And because of this, she has now retired. As an OT, we need to work with her on finding similar things that she could participate in, but that do not require as much energy, such as reading at a community library once a week. Fatigue is a huge factor in MS, so as occupational therapists, we need to be sure to teach conservation techniques. This includes limiting bending, resting often, following a schedule that prevents unnecessary actions, and using various breathing techniques. Performance skills that are impeding Alice's ability to encourage Engage in occupations are listed on the screen, but the main ones are her ability to walk, sequence, organize, and restore. On the other hand, performance skills that support her ability to engage are her ability to stabilize, choose, produce speech, and speak fluently. Her ability to speak will be very important as her disease progresses.
Now we'll be talking about some of her specific routines. Changes to Alice's bathing routine that might make it easier for her is that we would suggest getting grab bars and a shower bench. As it was explained in the case study, she grabs onto the different areas of the shower so that she can secure her footing before she's in and pulls herself out using the sink faucet. And this is unsafe. So, also we would suggest a shower bench because she does fatigue easily, and a handheld shower head to aid in bathing. We would also suggest that she take cooler temperature showers so this does not add to her fatigue. Changes to Alice's dressing routine would also make things easier for her. For her dressing routine, we suggest instead of keeping her clothes in various spots in her rooms, to keep them all together so that she exerts less energy while gathering clothes. She could also sit edge of bed to rest while putting on her shirt, which would also minimize her energy output. We would also teach her to minimize bending whenever getting dressed. What alternative could you suggest to Alice if she was getting too fatigued by late afternoon to prepare the evening meal? What could Alice do for meals if her symptoms are interfering with her ability to cook safely? As Megan had mentioned earlier, she often gets so fatigued in the morning routine that she crashes for many hours on the couch. So one thing we were saying that she could do is, we would need to know specifically what she was doing prior to preparing her evening meal, and maybe she could spread those out over different days of the week. Alice could also do meal prep earlier in the day before she gets fatigued, like around lunchtime or early afternoon before later in the day. Also, sitting whenever possible is suggested, like sitting down at the couch with a TV tray to chop vegetables or sitting at the table to do many other things like mixing. When she does have enough energy, we suggest that she could cook double and then freeze half of it and unfreeze it when she's feeling too fatigued to cook. Another thought we had was that she could order food to her from many different restaurants, or she could even get microwavable meals since those are both easy and minimize her chance of cooking unsafely and would help her with her fatigue. Since Alice loves to garden, we would like to have her engage in that as a meaningful occupation. Some things we would suggest to her would be having a companion while gardening so that if any problems occurred, they would be there for her, whether that's a neighbor or a friend or even since her ex-husband helps her with a lot of things. But we'd also want to point out to her that it's very important that she doesn't go all in and that she only does it about 30 minutes once a day, or one day a week, excuse me. We would also educate her on the most appropriate times to participate in gardening according to the heat index. We could also explore other options such as tabletop gardening. So Alice also really enjoys being in tune with the news, but she does this from reclining in her seat and holding her newspaper up, and this causes her to be really fatigued, but she doesn't want to miss out on the news. So some of the suggestions we have for her is that she could maybe not recline her seat as far and get news apps on her iPad or on her cell phone, and you could also prop this device up on a table. She could also use a TV table to rest her newspaper on and flip through the pages rather than holding it up. And then lastly, we would suggest that she could just watch the news on her TV. So we've seen a lot of problems with Alice's safety already, but some of the things we wanted specifically to point out is that she has poor awareness in her routine, specifically cooking, showering, and doing laundry. It seems that she doesn't necessarily know her limits. So that would be something we'd want to suggest that she'd be careful with, or that we would want to address all of those. So when she's cooking, she tends to leave half-finished things, which is concerned. She leaves sharp tools out. When showering, she grabs onto things that are unstable to get her in and out. She also stands for long periods of time on a slippery surface, which is definitely a hazard. And then when she's doing laundry, she's going down very narrow stairs to get to her washer and dryer while ambulating on crutches. And as Megan had mentioned earlier, she wouldn't even show the occupational therapist how she did this because obviously she knows it's unsafe. So we would want to make sure she's aware of her limits and then talk about some ways to alter these routines, which we've already talked about, but to make sure that she knows that it's both for her safety and for to not cause fatigue. So what things could Alice do differently to prevent any injury during her routine? So we've already said, in the shower, using grab bars, shower bench, and a handheld shower head is really going to give her just better control of the situation than holding on to the faucets and, bending over to keep her balance that way. So then with the laundry, having someone try to get her washer and dryer to the first floor would be really helpful if there's attachments up there, and we know in every house that may not be so, but if she could look into getting that moved up there, that would do a lot for her. We could also have somebody actually help her with laundry, again, whether that's the ex-husband or a friend or somebody like that. Then for dinner, we suggested that she sits whenever possible, making double portions and freeze some, stay focused on a task before switching to something else, and use visual reminders or timers if necessary.